Good morning. Welcome to the Java Cafe.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Thursday, July 3rd, 2025, the day before Juneteenth, number 2. The day before, I think it's about 31 days or 30 days before, I think it's August 5th that we celebrate National Folding Chair Day. But we're going to have a conversation today about White Stadium. If you have paid attention over the past few months, there's been a lot of conversation, valid concerns, traffic, supply diversity, full disclosure. As a commissioner on the Black Men and Boys Commission, we had some influence on the supply diversity piece of it. And there's a lot of conversation. And as I mentioned to you all, and I want to apologize publicly to Coach H, there was a little bit of confusion the other day about having different voices. Franklin Park Coalition had a press conference yesterday and really felt that the voices of support for White Stadium need to be more represented. And so we have our good brother, Coach H, who is a coach of young people that run track, that know the experience of the current status of White Stadium. Well, the old status of White Stadium. And so I'm just going, we have another guest coming in, Ricardo Pierre Louis, who is the CEO of Privé Parking, who also wants to share some information about White Stadium. So without further ado, I'd like to bring in, again, he's not a stranger to the Java Cafe. He was with us before in the same vein of talking about White Stadium. So first of all, Coach, thank you for taking the time to be with us today. Thank you for being in the room. Please greet the audience, and after your greeting, describe by your words the state of White Stadium in whatever context you would like to give your word. But greet the folks, say hello, and then give us your word.
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to say to you, Jimmy Java, thank you for creating this platform. You are a pillar in our community, and you've been hosting so many guests that provided dialogue that's necessary in our community. So I want to give you your flowers, Jimmy. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Coach Ricardo Louis. I'm a Bostonian. I live in the Roxbury area, across the street from Franklin Park. To give you some context, I've been coaching cross country, track and field in the district of Boston Public Schools since 2012. When I took over the position, the cross country program, we were dead last in Massachusetts, BPS. And as of last fall, our girls team started the season unranked and we were third in the state. My boys team started the season started unranked. We finished sixth. And since 2012, we've had 7 valedictorians. We have 200 city champions plus. In my current class, I have 2 kids going to Harvard. So White Stadium is where we operate out of for the last decade. And for the status, what you mentioned, Jimmy, is this came to light when Mayor Wu approached me in 2022 because I was the first coach in over 50 years of BPS history to win Girls Coach of the Year in Massachusetts, voted by my peers. And she was impressed because the current status, my girls couldn't even use the locker room. They couldn't even change. If they wanted to use the bathrooms were up to code. I used an example that I teach the 400 hurdles. And in between the hurdles, you can take 12 to 14 steps. I asked the mayor and her staff to count the holes between the steps that my 8th grade would have an 8th grade girl who was at Boston Land Academy. As an 8th grader, she was a city champion. So not only she has to cover the hurdles, but she has to pay attention to the holes on the track. So I brought the mayor with a walkthrough through White Stadium, and being physically in that building for the last decade, it's long overdue for renovation. And I will challenge any opposer. If you know City of Boston, if you know BPS athletics, the basketball players in our city, the football players at the scholastic level, they're not participating in BPS anymore. They're getting pulled from the Catholic schools, the ISLs, the private schools are providing them scholarships. So the best athletes are not even touching BPS. So hands down, the BPS track and field program has been producing the best athletes in the city. And I can argue anyone with that. The proof is in our GPA. The proof is in our college graduates. It's not about who graduates high school. How many of our kids are graduating college, and then how many of them are coming back to work in the district? So White Stadium is very special to those kids and I.
So would you say special is your word in reference to, you know, I wanted to, what is your word? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth.
While it's dear to our heart, because it helped me motivate me to coach. It helped me. That was my lane. Like, we could compete with anyone. Doesn't matter the conditions. So we looked at it like everyone else outside the school district has better conditions than us, but it's the heart of the athlete. I'd not allow, because we didn't have the upgrade facilities. We're the biggest school district in Massachusetts, but we have the lowest in regards to facilities. We're the biggest school district by 50,000. If you look at the next school district, you couldn't compare how many high schools, how many middle schools, how many elementary schools are in the city.
Look, the middle schools are about to be to zilch. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. And coach, I have to in real time find balance, because beyond the noise, you're talking, and ever since I've talked to you about this, it's been for you about the young people.
Absolutely.
And the students. And so I'm curious, I have to ask a question, and we'll go back to a lot of what you said. With what you've been able to accomplish in that lane, and it's informed your coaching, what do you think the impact would be with an improved facility at White Stadium? Oh, an improved White Stadium, rather, if you will.
An improved White Stadium, from the person who's been behind the scenes since the inception, because I represent multiple factors. I live across the street.
Okay.
I work in the building, and I work for BPS. So I have an understanding of the scope.
Can I chime in real quick and ask you a question? When you said you work for BPS, one of the major things that I'm hearing, and it was a talking point, in full disclosure, we, as a commissioner, we had some concerns about this. And one of the things that in that meeting, and also I've seen on social media in other meetings, is the balance of the use of the facility in the NWSL in their non-time, the balance between BPS use versus the team. You're in BPS, you're in the building. By your observation, are you concerned about the schedule?
Not at all. It's almost laughable. The greatest deal that they presented to us. There's 365 days in a calendar year. They're only asking for 20 days. BPS are the stewardess of the facility. In most of the soccer matches that they're going to have is Saturday afternoons, where we don't have anything for our student athletes. Most events for student athletes are Saturday mornings. They can have a soccer match at 5 p.m. on the afternoon on Saturday. Number two, why it's important for BPS. If you live in the city of Boston, is every high school up to par? Does every high school have the same gym, the same resources? This would be the student hub. That doesn't matter if you go to East Boston, doesn't matter if you go to Dorchester High. You show up your BPS badge, you'll have access to top of the line trainers, which is long overdue, better equipment, which is long overdue, and then on the bigger gamut, for those, because everyone speaks about White Stadium, but they recognize it's a track. But if you don't understand track, then you don't understand the stadium. Boston hosts the thing called the Boston Marathon. Okay,
which we were. Let's say we were a part of it. That
me and you did the half marathon.
The half marathon, yeah, last fall.
Marathon,
yep,
and you've seen it.
We hosted it. Let me just be clear. I didn't run it.
We were announcing. In the announcing world, you and I saw through droves and droves of plethora of people, all walks of life that come to our city to run. And I want to paint this picture for you. Imagine that in the summertime. Imagine that the city could host a state-of-the-art world-class track meet, because we actually hold the world's biggest and greatest marathon. During the indoor season, because not many people are runners and they don't understand the running community, Boston hosts the National Indoor Track Meet for high school. They have the NCAA meet indoors. Then when the season shifts, we have the marathon. White Stadium would position Boston to be the world's running hub. Because everyone already comes to the city, whether you're a collegiate athlete, whether you're a pro, if you want to get the best, you got to come to Boston. Now, to have that in our backyard, in Franklin Park, that would bring all the culture. So with all the noise people are saying,
somebody's probably calling him talking about, I see you on social on
Indian
whatever.
festival or a soccer match. Or a soccer match. Are we serious, people? What's going to carry more attention? The soccer match, or I'm going to remind you, Juve Morning, the West Indian Festival, when we have 40,000 West Indians jumping on Blue Hill Ave. This is long overdue. The kids of the city of Boston deserve an area, a facility that's up to par to their peers.
Absolutely.
What that would do is that it would implode. Because not every kid is a basketball player. Not every kid is a soccer player, but you can run. And there's different levels of running.
Let me ask you this, because our other guest is on his way in. I'm going to let you two cross over in a second. You said you're a resident in that neighborhood. One of the other things, a real thing, and it's sort of interesting of who my guest is coming in, traffic. The Saturday, let's say everything is perfect. People don't have concerns about the calendar. And it's 20 Saturdays. Have a morning event. It ends at 1 and 2. Then people are getting ready to come in early for a 5 p.m. NWSL event. As someone from that neighborhood, do you have concerns about traffic, congestion, parking, things like that? What are your do you have any concerns?
There's no concerns, because Jimmy, prior to the renovation, there was already bike lanes. The city is growing. It's the growth of Seaport. The city is growing, no matter how. If they were going to put White Stadium, there'd still be traffic. Do not blame the kids.
See, I can't say anything after you said do not blame the kids.
Don't blame the kids. Before they even renovated, we already had traffic with the bike lanes and etc. But once again, those kids are future tax-paying residents. How are we investing in them?
All right. I want to be fair to our guest, and I'm sure he agrees. I'm going to bring him in so you two can cross over for a second. Ricardo, Coach H, I don't know if you know each other or have met before. He is coming. It's similar to when, and full disclosure, you reached out. We've talked about this a little bit in the past, but sort of the same spirit of, hey, there's a lot of noise out there. I think it's important that we clarify some things. And so he's talking from a perspective of the young people, being a coach there, track coach in dilapidated facilities, but still got a lot of these young people graduating from college. Anyway, I'll give you two a second to say hello to each other. And Ricardo, you'll talk about, your perspective coming in as well. So gentlemen, wonderful, first of all, to have these kings on. But Ricardo, say hello to Coach H. Coach H, say hello to Ricardo.
So I got fat, boss.
What's going on, Coach?
The last name gave it away. I knew he was Haitian. So, Jean-Louis, Pierre-Louis, you know what it is.
You had to put the culture on blast. I love it. Shout out to my Haitians, by the way. But yeah, man. I mean, as you guys know, White Stadium is a pretty big topic here in the city of Boston. I think what's going on is, it's just an interesting time like this development.
Hold on. Whose phone or whose thing is that? What's that noise? The ding.
Might be. I don't know.
Okay.
Might be me. Make sure it's not me.
All right. Sorry, because I just know it's going to go all throughout. But go ahead, Ricardo, and say hello, and then Coach H, you can say hello back, and then we'll let you go, Coach H, and then Ricardo, we're going to jump into your perspective of White Stadium.
All right. Hey, guys. Hi, everyone. Ricardo Louis, owner and founder of Pre-Bay Parking. Also a part of White Stadium. Right now, I'm one of the transportation consultants and also will be handling the bus shuttle operations during game days.
And so we just came off that topic, Ricardo.
Yep.
And Coach H, anything you want to say back to Ricardo?
Well, yeah, and this is another example, Jimmy, that for the community's concern, is there going to be people of our community involved? Here you have two young men, American citizens, coming from diverse backgrounds, Haitian backgrounds. We're locked in on the future of our city. So that narrative is still the narrative out the window. There's two men right now who are positioning and try to promote the best and well-being of our city and our beloved city of Boston. So let's throw that out the window right then and there. Here's Ricardo coming from the transportation end. I'm representing the youth.
And that's a perspective. Off topic, and Ricardo, I'm going to check in with you on this as well. I cannot have both of you here and have the culture acknowledged. And we had Roofsy on earlier this week talking about TPS. We had the mayor on talking about it yesterday. From being Haitian, family members on the ground, what's going on. I need to coach before you go, just to get your perspective, any encouraging words. I wouldn't be my authentic self to not ask you about that, because it's a concern for a lot, and it's been a topic this week. And so, sir, anything you would like to say about that?
Elaborate. TPS is
the TPS is the temporary status of the stuff that's going on in immigration and stuff right now, and the large population of our Haitian Bostonians that right now until February are pretty much good. Thankful for the courts.
So, Jimmy, thank you for touching on this briefly. I just want to remind all your viewers, we love our beloved city, sanctuary city. But let me remind you history. The Irish, the Italians, the Jews, they migrated to our beloved city and they built it up. But in each decade, in each era, the faces of immigration have changed, but the intent of the immigrant has not. We are Haitian American. The Haitians and the West Indians that came in the 80s, in the 90s, we poured into our city. But the new immigrant faces are the Cape Verdeans, the East Africans. We must continue to uphold the principles that the city was founded on. That's what makes Boston the melting pot. And I can show you, even on the academic and on the track level, the stars in the city, the faces, the best athletes some of them are Cape Verdean Americans. The city MVP right now, Rick Barrows, is from Cape Verde. He brought the Burke a soccer title, and he was the fastest kid in the state in the 200 meters in track. He is a Bostonian with Cape Verdean roots. We can never, ever deny our immigrant roots. And Haitians were just the next wave of immigrants that came here, put it down, and we're just opening up doors for the next waves that are coming.
I listen. I love, and as Rusi and I had talked the other day about, in America, the Black community is attributed a lot to the civil rights movement, but anything around a revolution against racism and capitalism and whatnot, it is the Haitian history where we all take our cues from. And so, Coach H, thank you for being here. As this progresses and things go on, we'll probably have you back. But at any time you want to reach out and help clarify and speak on when it comes to the youth, done deal.
Yeah, and last but not least, Jimmy, just to plug everyone, we'll be starting again because we've been running a free strength and conditioning camp post-COVID. That's when I approached the city hall. I said, there's many youth at home doing nothing. Let's open up White Stadium. And since then, since 2021, we've produced every city MVP, right? And we have a girl right now, Leona Lynch, who graduated from Latin Academy, full ride to Florida Atlantic University, a Division I. Her teammate, Caleb Adore, going to Harvard. Her other teammate, Lily Costello, going to Harvard. We are producing in the city of Boston.
I mean, that's what I'm
not let people confuse you. And a new White Stadium will allow those kids to flourish.
Coach, thank you. I want to be, I knew he would agree, and it doesn't mind, but I want to be sensitive to his time. You both are businessmen. Coach, thank you. We're here. Give our love and support to the youth and let them know that there's a community out here that's supporting them and wanting to ensure that they have equitable facilities.
Thank you, my brother. You brothers, happy holidays.
Thank you. Ricardo, let me get you back on audio here. So, sir, first of all, impressions based on what you heard from Coach H and about the young people. I know we're going to talk more from a business perspective, but and I'll also ask you to pick up where Coach H left off in reference to what we were talking about, immigration and whatnot. Because again, the culture was here and alive and well and being raised, and I can't have both of you here and not ask about that, sir. So.
No, Jimmy, thank you for even mentioning that and bringing that up. You know, some people may not even know really what's going on. And so me being Haitian American and having a family that came over here from Haiti and just everything that has happened today, it's devastating, right? These people came here. They thought they had an opportunity to reside here in the U.S. and in Boston to make something out of themselves. You know, my parents came here. They migrated over here and made something out of themselves, and they produce, you know, a son like me. And so it's really heartbreaking that this has to happen. But one of the things I can say is, you know, Haitians have a very strong history, you know, and the Haitian people are very resilient. They're always figuring out ways how to overcome. And so, you know, yes, this may look like some form of a setback, but the reality, if you look at the history and just the culture, Haitians have always overcome and been able to go through obstacles. That's just who we are. It's not blood. That's just how we move as a culture and just as a nationality. And so, you know, keep your head up. You know, whatever it is that you do every single day to make yourself feel strong and keep your head up and keep motivating you and just be positive, continue doing that, because this isn't an end. I don't look at it as an end. I look at it as, I think things are still ongoing. You know, as you can see, the dates obviously got extended. It was a specific date and now it got pushed back. You know, you never know what can happen, right? And so don't put your head down. This ain't over. If you're working, keep working. You know, just know that there's a new path and a new journey to this. You got here, you're in the country, you felt it, you tasted it, you know what America's like, and you can do this. So just keep your head up, keep going, and just stay focused and let us do the work. Let our cities, let our states, let our community organizers do that fight, because people are here fighting for you, and we do want you here, and we love that you guys are here, and we want you guys to contribute to this beautiful economy, especially here in the city of Boston. So we got you. There's people out there for you, and just keep doing what you do. Keep shining.
Ricardo, when you was here before, I'll take some claim to fame that the way you speak and the encouraging words and something in there in the background. Turn your volume down. We got a little bit of feedback. I know you probably got a whole lot going on there because Ricardo's a tech guy like me. Can you still hear me though?
Yeah, can you still hear me?
Good. Okay, yep, we're good. The inspiration that you just gave, I recognized that the first time that you were here, and then I saw a couple of posts and you're out speaking on panels and doing things. And so in all seriousness, I want to thank you for being sensitive and acknowledging that. And I know you're not going untouched. One of the things when Coach H was talking about, you have two Haitian brothers here, Black men who, in his case, he works for BPS, but you're an entrepreneur. You reached out yesterday and was like, yo, I'm hearing, seeing a lot. You tell me why we're here. I don't want to put words in your mouth. You tell me why, because I know you're well able to let us know.
I mean, it's very simple why I'm here, right? You have a Black-owned transportation management company based in Roxbury. That's a part of White Stadium. I know a lot of people are thinking White Stadium is not going to have a true impact. This isn't for people that look like me. This doesn't have any real opportunities when it comes to business or workforce. A lot of money being spent. I hear all the talk in the background. And so I guess what I wanted to do is I wanted to come on the show and let people know that this is real. I am a part of White Stadium. And it doesn't just start or end with me, right? This is the very beginning. I'm on the very beginning stage, which is the development stage, right? And there is a bunch of opportunities for Black and brown people who look like me to be involved on the construction side, development side, and operation sides. This is not just talk. I'm telling you, I'm living proof that these opportunities are real and they're for us. And I just wanted to come on the air and just state that. And whoever's watching it and have some doubts, listen, Every development, there's going to be issues, right? There's no perfect development. We all know this. But what I'm trying to say is this is an opportunity for finally people who look like me to take advantage of. And we need to do that. And I'm here today just to talk about what's going on with White Stadium and what are some opportunities that we can do as a people to really impact our community, our businesses, and our families, most important.
I appreciate that. And it was, and Ricardo, you know, I'm authentic. I'm going to be real with you. Some months ago, you had reached out, and by my observation, we are in times of politics and whatnot. And you remember there was a little bit of pushback of like, well, why are you trying to come on and da 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 da.
Yeah.
And so let's just be honest about your perspective is very balanced from a business owner's standpoint. And you're going to be very real, whether consulting or whatever, you're going to be real. And so I just wanted to name that for people to think there's some cap here. And so let me ask you specifically, when you say you're consulting, I just asked Coach H about, you know, the transportation piece. My presumption is private parking. Let's just promote that. If you need any services, please Google or reach out. We'll get his website in here before he goes. But private parking, go back and watch the other episode to hear that story. But what is your role as a consultant for White Stadium, and define for people what it is when you say you're being involved at this development stage in very layman's terms?
Okay, just keep it very high level. So
yeah,
what do I do? So pretty much I work with the development team. So the developers that are building the stadium, right? And so obviously one of the biggest challenge is traffic and transportation. How are these people going to come from these particular train stations or these parking lots and come to the games, right? What does that look like? What type of buses, what routes, what streets are being used, how long are they waiting? You know, that's pretty much what I am helping the team put together, right? If you guys don't know, we were the local company that was awarded the transportation contract for the NAACP National Convention that took place in 2023. So it's not just, hey, let's go find Ricardo. It's like, no, we're capable, we're qualified, and we've done this work before, right? And when you talk about our neighborhood, we're Roxbury based, so we know the neighborhood better than anyone. And so we work with the development team on just pretty much creating the routes, what type of shuttles, what does that look like going back and forth, pretty much the whole mobility of people coming in and out of the stadium. So that's what we're doing.
So, you know, and you know, when you told your story on the first time being on, everybody was convinced that you know what the heck you told your story from being, you used to be a valet parker, a valet. Yeah, that's the term. Used to be a valet and then moved up, got contracts and have private transportation. Presumably you got some fleet or something. So you know it from that perspective, logistics. But you just said you're from the hood and you're from the city, and you also understand that, and let me just get your perspective while you're here. You know, Coach H referred to, you know, bike lanes have been here and things like that and whatnot. There is a lot of concern. There's a lot of concern. This Franklin Park is at the end or toward the end of the new Blue Hill Ave 1-lane piece. There's that piece. From your perspective, sir, understanding our community, understanding this profession, how are you consulted? How's it going? Seriously, how are you taking those two experiences and ensuring that the community will not be over bombarded with traffic and things and stuff like that?
Well, I think, you know, let's just look at it, right? Let's look at the basics. The basic is they have someone who lives in the actual community, right? So who else know what issues and challenges we have, right? We got a bunch of issue challenges. Forget the bike lanes. We got people who don't know how to drive out on the road, you know, just standing there, right? We got cars breaking down on Blue Hill Ave. We got people doing fender benders, those small things. We got people on their cell phones not going through green lights, and we got to beat the horn at them, right? So we got a whole bunch of issues that we know on Blue Hill Ave. And beyond that, we got pedestrians that don't even use a crosswalk. So I know what's really going on the ground, right? But when you talk about it from a development point, I just gotta just touch base on just you know when there's a good development just based on how the development team is moving. And what do I mean by that? They got someone who is from the neighborhood, who lives in the neighborhood to do this work, right? And so if you kind of think about it, I'm not going to sit here and sell y'all dreams and promises. Y'all know where I live, y'all know where I'm based, so I'm not going to do that. But what that means is I'm going to be real with you guys. Obviously, there's a community perspective, there's a neighbor's perspective, there's a business folks perspective, and there's just a lot of people that come in and out of the park. You know, you also have the golf course, right? You also have the hospital. You have people that run up and down and do exercise there. So we got to consider all of these people, and we really got to make a plan that is mutually benefit. And that's what I think is happening, and we're doing that right now. As you can see, there is a transportation plan that was made public and it's ongoing. It's not finalized. We're telling the community, hey, you guys have an opportunity to continue helping us get better and build a plan that makes sense on all fronts. Now, it's not going to be one-sided. It can't just make sense for the soccer team or just can't make sense for the neighbors, right? We got to come to a mutual agreement. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to make sure that that happens, that the community is here to get their feedback, that we're here to address all the issues and challenges. And I'm going to make sure that gets done. And we're going to have a strong transportation plan to make this work.
I'm just trying to troll the comments a little bit just to see if there's any inquiries. And Miss Teresa, thank you. This is Ricardo's information. If you can do me a favor, can you Google the City of Boston's White Stadium Transportation Plan and put that link in there too, Miss Teresa? So I got to be honest, I almost interrupted you when you went down the list of things non-White Stadium and the Blue Hill, you know, one lane. And then you pulled in just about every consideration. You talked about the runners. You talked about the hospital. You talked about the soccer games. Let's just also note these are 20 days out the year that this plan will be utilized. 20 as far as the, you know, NSL schedule. So that, you know, taking that to consideration, whatever else may go on there. You talked about being from the neighborhood. You talked about the people close to it, and then from the community and the business perspective. Is there anything under your purview and consulting that we may have missed, or I'll ask folks to put in the comments what we have not thought about? You talked about pedestrians. So I'm kind of convinced that you know what you're doing. And so where are things in the transportation plan? I'm comfortable asking you, Ricardo, are there some sticking points that, you know, you're working on to ensure that, you know, both of those worlds are perfectly blended together from the professional and the personal of the community?
I mean, yeah, like, you know, there's always going to be sticky points, right? People are going to want to know, you know, for instance, what type of buses are coming in the neighborhood, right? When you talk about buses, you guys know buses create fuel. Do we want fuel coming in and out of this beautiful park up and down the community, right? These are concerns that obviously people are mentioning and we're addressing, right? You know, we have a plan to have electric fleets, right? To kind of help with the environment, which is awesome. Think about electric fleets for the games. Like, you guys can't, you know, we're Boston. That's just us as a city. We're always thinking of like what's next and how do we create like better environments within the development. And that's what we're doing. Some other issues is like, you know, people don't want to look outside their window and see a big bus just hanging out outside their window, right? I wouldn't want to come outside my house and see this massive bus hanging out, right? So it's like,
and I don't want to be in traffic behind one either. Let's keep it 100.
There you go. So, you know, we got to address that, right? We got to see like what are different alternatives. And that's what we're working on, right? On how do we make sure we make space for the people who have cars and vehicles and who's going about their daily activities, but also how do we make sure that these buses can get in and out? So these are things that's always going to be ongoing, right? And we're coming with a plan, and the plan is going to be good and strong. Another thing too, it's like, you know, where they're going to hang out, right? We're obviously going to identify spaces for the buses to idle. It's called idle, right? When you drop someone off, the bus got to go somewhere. When everyone's in the game, where the bus is going to be, right? And so one of the things that I address is if you look around the stadium in the neighborhood, right? We have a lot of local businesses that have parking spaces that are not even being utilized on Sundays and Saturday mornings, right? Why are we not putting money back into those local businesses, right? So when we talk about we need places to store X amount of buses, what I'm doing is I'm going to local businesses who have spaces and saying, hey, listen, let's come to an agreement and we'll utilize your space to have these buses sit during games and whatnot to continue and making sure that we're investing in the community. I think that's important. And that's what you'll see within this development. You're going to see a lot of partnerships and agreements that's happening all throughout the local business and organizations. And I think that's one of the things that most developments don't really do very well. But the fact that I'm on this and I'm telling you this is the plan and it's going to happen, there's just a lot more opportunities. And it doesn't just only start and stop with transportation and parking. We're talking about just all throughout the operations of the games.
one of the things that I find interesting as you're talking, and I had this thought was, as you went up the ranks from being a valet to owning your own company, you do contract negotiations,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So there's that level of expertise as well, to where, understanding sort of how things go with that. And so Ricardo, I definitely, when you reach out, outside of that one last time when I thought something and I was probably a little bit wrong about, when you reach out, I'm here to, hear what's going on. And it's good to hear that you are a part of this. You're a very real brother. And so with these developers, and I'll go ahead and say with the city, back and forth, being a liaison or whatever, I know that, if needed, you will say what needs to be said. So is there anything that we missed? Is there any way, what's going on with Privé? We can't have you here and not talk about that a little bit, because that's, I believe, what lended to your level of expertise to be consulting in this space. So what's going on with Privé as well?
Privé, we taking over, man. We're not playing games. We're not playing games. We taking over. We're getting bigger. We're growing. We're always looking for great talent to come and join the team and help us grow and get to where we need to get to. So if you know anyone who wants to explore a new opportunity in a new industry, parking and transportation, please reach out. Our doors are always open. We're always looking to bring in new talent. And so first and foremost, I'll put that out there.
You're hiring. Let's just say you're hiring.
Yeah, okay. We are hiring. And regarding, just business-wise and opportunities, we're thinking big picture here, right? We're already talking about FIFA World Cup that's happening next year, which, let me just share some numbers with you guys. It's going to bring about $1.6 billion to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, okay? Out of that $1.6 billion, $800 million is coming directly to Massachusetts. So let's just think
coming to Boston.
I don't know those numbers, but I know I know 800 million is coming to Massachusetts, right? And we're talking about people from all over the world coming in, booking hotels, going to restaurants, doing all these tours, shopping. Money is going to be poured in our community. And we got to make sure that we benefit off of it and we getting contracts off of it. And so that's one of the things that I'm advocating for right now and trying to insert ourselves. So let's not forget that. Another thing I want to mention too, guys, at the end of August, you guys all should participate and go. There is an HBCU football classic that's happening right here in Boston on August 30th. Everyone should go to this. This is a great opportunity. We got two HBCUs. I think it's what is it? It's Morehouse. I think it's I forget the one, John C. I forget it, but I got it on my calendar. Two HBCU football teams are coming in, and they're not just coming with the teams. They come in with their fans. They coming in with their families. They coming in with their friends. We got a lot of opportunity that's coming right here in Boston. This is happening in the end of August. So August 30th is the football game. August 29th is going to be a whole bunch of events happening in the city. Some more information is going to come out through the city of Boston. I don't want to take their shine, but I just want to put that on the calendar because, guys, we're in the best city in the world. We're in the best city in the world. There's nothing but opportunities here, and there's nothing but willingness to really think creatively and work with companies like myself. And I don't want to keep referring to myself because I just want you guys to understand, if I can do it, I promise you, y'all can do it too. And I mean that. And
I was putting you back on solo screen because I thought you was about to go in, because I keep going back to I know. It's a part of who you are.
For sure.
It's definitely a part of who you are. And, one, I just want to reiterate, he's hiring you all. So what's the, we have Miss Teresa put in the comments. I think she's watching on Java with Jimmy. I think, no, she may be watching. I don't know. But Privé parking, you can Google Privé parking and go to careers. And then also thank you for putting in Miss Teresa the transportation link. That is, both of those are hyperlinked directly to their websites. And so this is the transportation one. Ricardo, I couldn't be, and this is, I seen it. And so it just had me cracking up. Kendrick Preston said, change white stadium to black stadium. And so I seen that and I couldn't. Rocks, there's a whole bunch of going on with name changing and stuff around here. So, but then we'd have to find out the history of why it's named White Stadium. And, but that's not a bad idea. And Deevely, DEI. I see DEI, and so somebody over on Instagram said privé parking all day. So you got some love going on over there. Ricardo, wait a minute. I am honored. Can you see that?
Oh man, my mom's on here.
Yo, I love when parents come in. We got a whole mother's board. The mothers that are in here, you all go and say, what's your mom's name?
Frina.
Please go. Frina.
No, Frena.
I was close. Frena. Mothers, go in and say hi to Miss Frina. She came in to support her. Listen, mothers, that's one thing that they will do. They will come in and make themselves known. My mother does it all the time. My son, they're gonna
that's my mom.
Listen, they are our number one supporters.
Yeah.
So absolutely. And Miss Teresa also let us know about the HBCU weekend that's coming up in August. So all right, Ricardo, thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I have to go do some commentary and get ready to it's my last show, man. So
it's always a pleasure, man. Keep doing your thing. You know, we need more people like you. You know, not only do you provide information and give us an opportunity to talk and speak our truth, but you also are inspiring people to show them, listen, you can be creative and outside the box, and you can get your message across by all different platforms and shapes and ways. And you do that. And so I got to tip my hat off to you and give you your flowers, because I know it ain't easy. You know, and at sometimes it can be like, man, I ain't doing a show tonight. But you keep pushing and you stay consistent, and trust me, we watching you. Just like you talking about us, we talking about you, Jimmy. So just don't forget us when you're on that red carpet. Just remember, you started right here in Boston.
Listen, I got my own red carpet. So no matter where we going, what we doing, I ain't going to never. And I'll be real with you in real time. That is one of my biggest fears when this little local, you know, whatever, being known a public figure thing is, because I know me. I'm your typical, you know, high yellow light skinned dude that can be a little conceited with it. No, but Ricardo, thank you. As long as there are people around like you that could come and say, Nia, a few other people, Shagun, that come and say, hey, bro, let me holler at you for a minute. I know that I'm good if it ever, but I doubt it would be. But I thank you for the flowers, and I give them to you as well. And I appreciate the example that you see for so many young people and business folks in our city. So the flowers right back to you, sir.
Appreciate it, Jimmy. Thank you. Have a good weekend. A good weekend, everyone. Mom, I love you. Thank you for coming on.
Yo, that's dope, man. Thank you, bro. And enjoy second Juneteenth and 30 days before National Folding Chair Day.
All right, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
All right. Peace, man. He's going to catch that 2 seconds after he gets off of here. That was definitely dope. I appreciate him. And mother, thank you for being in here. And there go my mother. Miss Teresa, what I mean by last show is, ladies and gentlemen, we will not have, barring any major developments in anything, we will be on vacation next week. There will not be, the Java Cafe will be closed. Maybe if I say it like that, I think that's a little bit easier. The Java Cafe will be closed next week. I will be on D&D mute. Business, personal, nope. So, just letting everybody know that, that is the plan. That is the plan. Good morning. Good morning, brother. Good to see you in the room, brother Antonio from Urban Shooting Experience. That is the plan. So if you don't hear from me, I'm good. I'll check in with mother every few days. But next week we will, the Java Cafe will be closed. All right. The last thing that I'll say is that Ricardo said something a few minutes ago that resonated with me. Thaddeus put a post on LinkedIn that resonated with me. I've seen some things on social media just about, you know, protecting our peace and the balance of not giving things attention, and then also, you know, staying focused. But then, you know, also I saw a post about don't get my taking the high road, something, something. With all the noise and stuff, it is imperative that we stay focused on what the noise is being made about. Noise is being made because you're doing something. You're bringing attention to things, and attention is coming to you because you're doing something. There's friction, there's activity, there's impact. So I just want to encourage all of you to, Coach H and Ricardo coming in today with an intentionality. Jimmy, there's a lot of noise. That wasn't their exact words, but we want to clarify some things. Totally separated. I had to tell the two of them last night that they were crossing over. So I just wanted to mention that. So yes, mother, self-care. What did Miss Teresa say? I know what you mean by when you said it make the people think. You said it may make people think other. I know what you mean. I don't know what you mean, Miss Teresa. Rob said, "Ain't no day to listen." There's Rob. Don't say that, because I told Newt, I was like, outside of me being sick or when I had the surgery, whatever. I think out of the last, outside of the weekend and no show days of taking days off when we usually have a show, I can tell y'all I'm under 30. I know I'm under 30 in the last 5.5 years. I'm probably under 14. Where I just got up one morning and said, oh, I don't feel it. I'm taking a mental health day. All right, maybe under 30. Because I remember a couple of days, I'm like, listen, I'm tired. So anyway, I'm rambling. You all get your points. It's 10:49. You get an hour today. I know you all lose points next week. But Mother Lisa is in. Good to see you in the room. Miss Teresa. All right. Ma, I expect that your blessing is coming too. So is yours, Misha. Good morning to you. All right, folks. We will see you online here and there. We'll be checking in. I guess that's it. Until what's Monday? This Monday is the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 4th, 5th, 6th. We'll see you on Tamisha's birthday on July 14th. Right now, that's when that's when we'll be back. That's the plan. I don't know, y'all. Penny, what's up, old school MP friend? Good to see you in the room over on Instagram. All right, folks, I'm going right now. We'll be back on July 14th.